Hi guys, just wanted to talk to you today about the 2305 kit. Thought I'd do a review on it just to give you the pros and cons of what I think goes with it. I've used it a few times now camping, just for an overnighter and for a 2-night camp. So we'll start off, just open it up. So it comes in this bag for storage. So it weighs about 8 kilos. To me it feels a little heavier than that, but maybe I don't know what 8 kilos feels like. But so it comes in the bag. It's I'll give you some dimensions. I've written it down so I don't forget. But you've got, when it's packed like this, it's 52 centimeters by 17 and a half, which would be that way, by 28 and a half centimeters that way. So when it's set up, it's going to be 47 and a half by 47 and a half by 39 centimeters. Okay, so I'll just unpack it. I like to keep my gloves in there because it makes it easier for lifting it off when it's heavy, my leather gloves. So it comes with a few things. You've got your grill, which is looking nice and dirty from use. A bit dirty. Little metal base that goes on it. I assume that's steel, I don't know. It's quite heavy. It goes down the bottom. Allows some airflow through with the cutout holes. Helps with the airflow for that one. Okay, this is the base that the fire pit will sit in. I'll set that up there. This is the part that catches the ash when it comes out of the fire pit. I'm not thrilled with how that works. It tends to go over the edges. I don't think it's quite big enough for underneath for catching the ash, but anywho, so that goes in there. And you've got the actual fire pit just here, which folds out like that. So it's a good flat pack, easy to store, goes in there. Okay, so that part sits in there. You've got a little bit of a gap underneath here for a bit of airflow. Now, there's no instructions when I got this, so I wasn't really sure what that part's for. It's going a bit rusty actually. So I just sat that on the inside there just to stop too much of the coals falling through. Then I sit this one on top of that. It's going rusty too. There we go. So that'll sit in there. Okay, then it comes with this part. So basically, you just have the fire pit just like that if you just want to use it as a fire pit, which is great. And what I was talking about with the holes, like the coals falling out through the hole, it's just here. I don't know if you can see that where my fingers are. Often get a pile of ash just around here, which you'll see on a video as well, where I'll show you somewhere I've got the fire going. Ash catcher underneath is not working, as you can see. It barely covers the base area, so it'll just falls out the side where the hole is kind of outside the catcher. So I think they kind of need to change that. And you'll end up with a pile of ash. So if you've got dry grass underneath you, it's not great because it just catches the grass on fire, which is what we found. And we had to move to a dirt patch instead. So you just got to watch out for that. So that sits in there. That's how you'd have it set up if you're just having the fire burning. It's a great size for 2 people. So my husband Gary and myself, we used it those few nights, and it was some really cold nights, and it was perfect size for us. We also cooked on it, so this is where this comes in. This is what the grill part will sit on. So I'm just going to fold that out and hook it up onto there. So just swing that around a bit. Okay, so as you can see, it's got the different levels. So it's 1, 2, 3. It says it's got 4, but I'm not sure how you get 4 out of that because that doesn't sit on there, and I suppose it doesn't really sit like that. So I would call it 3 levels for the grill. sits there, and you open this part up and it goes on like that. So when we used it, we didn't actually cook off this. It is food grade metal that you can cook on, stainless steel or whatever it's called, but we didn't actually cook off it because I don't like cleaning, so I just put a fry pan on top and cooked off the fry pan. Over the top. We had it up that height most of the time because it was a lot easier to get the firewood in while you're cooking. If you have it lower, it's going to make it a bit more challenging to get, depending on the size of the firewood obviously. You still could, so you're just throwing a few little small pieces in there and stuff. And you can have it different heights to how quickly you want to cook or what level heat you want underneath your cooking. I just had my cast iron fry pan on here. I've actually had that and a cast iron small camp oven on there as well, and it works really well. So you can get the firewood in there, keep it burning. I have to say I don't really have a lot of issues with it, just where the ash falls out, that's probably one of the issues. But just unpacking it now, noticing that that's got rust on there. Not so sure about that because whatever that paint or something's peeling off there. So I might need to give that a clean up and have a, so you can see it's flaking off. This, which I thought was stainless steel, has got rust on it. So not sure what's going on there. I've just noticed in the fire pit there's a little bit of, I don't know if it's just surface rust or what it is, but there is a little bit of that. So that's the basics of this fire pit. I'm quite happy with it. It's not heavy, which is great. It's easy to pack up into the back of the truck, the four-wheel drive, so you're not taking up a lot of space with it. It's easy to move around. So there is on the sides, when we moved it around, we just held it by these handles down here with the gloves on, one on each side, and just lifted up and moved it around. It cools off really quickly, so if you're using it not long before you want to pack up and go, with the exception of this piece, the rest of it actually cools down really quickly. On a really cold night, we did some camping up at the Goulburn River National Park, and it got down that night. Actually, we had a frost that night. We had this fire going and it kept us plenty warm for the two of us. You could have it as filled up as much as you want basically. For the top, we had some pretty good fire going in there, and that kept us plenty warm. I didn't feel cold. You can put your feet down around this area, it keeps your feet warm. So as long as you're not underneath where the ash is going to fall out, you've got no concerns. It'll keep you warm enough. You can have a small fire in it if you just want to keep it burning for a little bit, but yeah, temperature wise it's got some good heat. So the amount of firewood that you would use in it, we actually didn't, depending on the, I don't know, we went through a lot of firewood once using it fairly quickly, and then on a different time it just seemed to not take a lot at all. So it kind of depends on how cold the night is, how warm you want to stay on the night. I don't think it went through a lot of firewood technically on that first time that we used it on a really cold night. But then again, the next night up at, where was it? Barrington Tops, we were up there, up at Riverwood Downs. And we seemed to go through the firewood really quickly on that night, on those 2 nights actually. We ended up buying some firewood from the Riverwood Downs people there because we just going through it so quickly. So it's sort of hard, it probably depends on the wood that you're using in it as well, and how long you're sitting around the fire and how much you want to stay warm. This one cost me $149. I bought it through, I think I bought it through, I don't know if I bought it through Snowy's or through 23Zero, but either way it cost me $149. I'd say yes, it's definitely worth the money. I've got another fire pit that cost me nearly $400, which is steel, which I didn't expect to be as heavy as what it is. I'll do a review on that too sometime, but it's far too heavy. So this one for the money, I would say definitely worth the money. There's probably a few things that, as I said before, that I would fix, which would be particularly this under tray. Outside of that, I'm pretty happy with it. It's been really good. I'd get another one. I would hope they could maybe change this base part, but I mean, having a small base like that probably keeps the weight down a little bit too, possibly, rather than a big base with clips and stuff connecting to it. But I'd definitely buy another one. Worth the money. Okay, thanks for joining me, and I hope this has given you some insight into whether you would get the 23Zero. I'm happy with it. I think it's been great. So, thanks guys.